Okay, hello and welcome back. I'm Justana and we are doing a surprise live stream because the next chapter of Andromeda 6 was dropped today and I wasn't sure if I'd have time to stream today, but I do. I had to actually play through the previous chapters because they redid a lot of the script, so my saves were broken. So, lots of fun. I tried to stick with the same major choices that I made. Luckily, I kept track of those. But some of the in-between choices may have come out slightly different. But for the most part, it's the same. So, my save files are a mess. I'm going to have to fix them. But the point is, we are going to Goldus. We are starting chapter 9. Oh my gosh, look at how different the room is. I have some more plants and then the lights and the bedding looks different. It definitely looks more lived in. My bedroom, it appears, is not well equipped for hyperspeed. Having just entered to find my belongings strewn all over the place, I'm forced to ignore it as I wobble on unsteady legs towards my bed. It appears that I'm not all that well equipped for hyperspeed either. I drop down onto the tousled covers of my bed with a sigh of relief. The jump to the Kitalphan ruins has left me feeling lightheaded, and after being given some anti-nausea medicine from Riona, I've been instructed to take it easy. The rest of the crew had fared well enough with the warp-like speed, which only adds to my embarrassment, though I've been assured it's not uncommon to feel ill during your first time. It takes a little while, but once the ruin seems to have stopped spinning, I push myself up to survey the damage, finding it's not as bad as I had originally thought. My books have toppled over, and the rocks I picked up on Orion have ended up in different corners of the room, including Bob Moss, who I find suspiciously nestled in one of my boots. Oh, I should say before I continue that while Andromeda 6 up to this point has been free to play, with the release of Chapter 9, you do have to pay for it in order to continue playing it. But you don't have to pay for each chapter. You just have to pay once, and you get all the future updates. There's one more chapter after this one, and then an epilogue. So they're almost done. The end is within sight. So we're basically on our way to the capital planet to overthrow the usurper who killed all of my family, except for, it turns out, my older sister. Spoilers. Luckily, the I Love Cursa mug I swiped from the Crimson Dust Barracks is in one piece, and the plant Riona gave me a while ago was safely secured to the shelf. I picked up a couple of new plants while on Tilaari. One of them is a special hover planter that was engineered to stay upright at all times. The other one was a recommendation from Damon, a hanging plant with clusters of pretty pink flowers. Though by the way he was smirking when I brought it aboard, I think it might be wise to check with Rihanna exactly what it is. There is an option to spend time with Rihanna at one point, and she reveals that some of the plants she takes care of in the medical bay are poisonous, but beautiful. I sighed, crossing my arms and looking around. While it was nice to spend some time on Tilaari, it's good to be back in my own room. The thought makes me pause suddenly. My room! I glance around at the knickknacks and souvenirs I've used to decorate this place, and I feel safe here. I feel at home. This trip to Goldus won't be easy, but I have too much to fight for to turn away now, and far too much to lose. We've made it to the space station, Astra. Our next step is to meet with Elisa and Zane and devise a plan for Goldus. Almost as soon as I've thought it, an alert goes off on my holopad from the group chat, notifying everyone that the Cursons are now on board. Unable to put it off, I slip on my boots and leave the coziness of my room behind as I make my way to the bridge. I arrive on the bridge to find the crew already gathered, and when adding Zane and Elisa to the mix, it's a bit of a tight fit. Which one? Where's my dice? Okay, let's see. No, I need a D4. These are not D4s. Come on. I mean, there we go. Any dice should do it because it's just two decisions, but I like to limit how many. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Keep behind the others. Sticking to the wall, I slip in next to June, who offers me a warm smile and greeting. Sweet, right? You've got here, got space for 2 extra crew members? He would. In your dreams, Rodriguez, you're sucking up all the air as it is. Don't act like you don't like it up close and personal, Resner. As for the sucking... Yeah, we get it. If you two want to flirt, do it on your own time. Jealous, Captain? We've got business to attend to. Zane smirks to himself before he spots me near the back of the room and raises an eyebrow. Well, here she is, the littlest Pegassi. Huh? That was an interesting speech you gave back on Tilaari. Lisa speaks nonchalantly, but I don't miss the disapproval behind her words. I can tell they're both pissed, because I said to keep the throne. I didn't say anything about abolishing the throne. And encouraging people to trust in the Pegassi. I know it's not what you wanted to hear, but it's what I believe in. I wasn't going to stand in front of the camera and lie. Why not? The Pegassi have been doing it for generations. Enough. While you're on my ship, I'll thank you not to disrespect my crew. Yeah, you stand up for me, Captain. I heard Bash. That's so funny. Elisa sighs at the warning, but she relents with the wave of her hand. If we're lucky, we'll have time to squabble between ourselves after Zovak has been taken care of. I'll admit that right now we have more important things to discuss. Agreed. So what's the plan? It's simple, in theory. It's never simple in practice. While your crew is dealing with Ren, we're taking the best fighters from our clans to take down the Doctor. What? Vex leans forward, hands shaking at his sides as his face goes pale. Didn't think we'd forget about him, did ya? But you, Seraph, are exactly why this assignment was given to us. Nerissa thought it would be better this way. Less emotions involved, if you know what I mean. Vex grits his teeth, but he gives a relenting nod, and I know he understands. I wish I could do it myself, but I hope you give that bastard nothing less than what he deserves. That's the plan. Beck says nothing else, but I can see he looks shaken. I watch as he turns towards Damon, who claps a reassuring hand on his shoulder and whispers a few words. We'll head out tomorrow after dark. There's a curfew in effect, which will make it easier to pass through the districts unnoticed. We'll need to land in the transport depot within the Silver District. Thanks to Kalana Ayame, we have allies within the Guard who will disable any alerts on our ships and get us safely into the districts. From there, we split up and seek out our targets. Where will we find them? Ren has been seen patrolling the Gold District with their squad after a curfew, while the doctor has set up shop in one of the old factories in Bronze. Rumor is that he's scrambling brains again, and he's using prisoners of war as his guinea pigs. Great. So, I've been thinking about this doctor, and part of me wonders if it's June's biological mother. I'm not saying that she's his actual mother, but not after the way she treated him and his brother. But I'm wondering if calling the doctor he is just misleading. Like, maybe people just say doctor, but they don't know for sure if the doctor is male or female. I feel June tense beside me, and I understand his anger. Despite us destroying the Orionite mines, they're still finding ways to mess with people. We need to put a stop to it, and fast. And there's one more thing. Our intelligence shows that Zovak is working on the blueprints that were stolen from Tilaari. He's attempting to build a weapon like nothing we've seen before. Potentially one that could wipe out an entire planet. He's building his own Death Star? Or Star Killer or whatever? A cold chill goes through me. Could such a weapon ever exist? And if it did, what could ever come of it? Why did Tilaari have the blueprints for something like that? A safeguard, in case Gold is ever attacked. You knew about this? No, it's just a guess, but it would make sense that Tilaari would want such a safety net. And now it's likely to be used against them. Riona steps back horrified, while Bash puts a comforting hand on her arm. I did encourage them both to, maybe consider more. And of course I did encourage Calderon and Nerissa to, maybe consider more between them. And of course we can tell that there's definitely some flirting going on with Damon and Elisa and Zane. The Tilaari have always acted in peace. I never thought they were capable of creating such a weapon. Hence why it's only a blueprint. If Zovak got his hands on the real thing, I doubt any of us would be standing here. We have time. We acted early. Surely we can stop them before it gets to that. We'll try our best. It's all speculation at the moment. We'll know more about the situation once we get to Goldus. Zane slips his hand into Elisa's, and surprisingly, she doesn't pull away from him. We'll leave you to prepare. Hopefully, when we meet again, it'll be on the other side of all this. The curtains leave us with a final goodbye, but the rest of us remain gathered on the bridge. I look around at the crew, at my friends, taking in the worried looks and solemn faces, and I feel a dread begin to settle in my stomach. Whatever else happens, I mean, I basically declared myself Nerissa's heir. But that aside, I'm going to end up taking a larger... It feels like this is building up to the Traveler potentially taking a larger role in the government, so may as well step up now. I know deep down that this dread and the feeling of wanting to turn around and run away is exactly what we need to challenge if we have any hope of getting through this. Facing the crew, I take in a deep breath, thinking of the words that might give them some hope. That was a lot to take in, but now we have a better idea of what we're facing and what we stand to lose. We shouldn't let this deter us from our course. If anything, it makes me want to take down that bastard even more. You're right, we've come this far. There's no turning back now. We need to see this through to the end. Well said, Taylor. Cal steps into the middle of the room and looks around at us all, his mouth set in a grim line. I know you're all feeling shaken, but let's remember why we've come here and the task that's been assigned to us. There's no one coming to help us this time, so we need to be ready. Do what you need to do to prepare yourselves and get some rest. Tomorrow, we head to Goldus. The crew disperses with a few mumbled words, and I head to my station, double-checking the route for tomorrow and making sure nothing unexpected has shown up on the radar. When I'm satisfied that everything is in order, I decide to check in with the crew. Okay. Okay. Wait. I don't get to speak to Aya? I guess that's a given since I'm romancing her. Let's go down the list. Hey Taylor, come check this out. Bash heads over to me holding up his palm where I see a tiny clear disc sitting in a small container. What is it? It's a kind of contact lens. I got it back on Tilaari. What does it do? Lets me watch movies while the captain's giving his boring ass speeches. This thing is going to be worth what I paid 10 times over. That's it? No cool combat features? Nah, I figured I don't need any more of that. Not when I've got a whole crew to watch my back. He smiles at me as he pockets the contact lens, and for the first time in a long while, he seems happy. I'm glad you didn't change anything, Bash. Yes. Yeah, me too. Thanks for asking Kay to talk to me, by the way. He had some pretty valuable insight on the situation. In case people have forgotten, Bash was thinking about basically upgrading to complete bionics, or basically mechanics. Basically turn himself into, I wouldn't say cyborg, but basically replace all of his flesh and blood bits with mechanical, and it's kind of scary, but I understand why he was thinking of that. But I'm glad that we had the chance to have someone talk to him who could help him understand what he would be giving up. I'm just happy he could help. Bash nods and leans back against the wall, taking the wrench from his back pocket and balancing it between his fingertips. He's a cool guy. I can see why your sister likes him so much. Yeah, they've been best friends for as long as I can remember. Bash raises an eyebrow at me, his head cocked to the side in thought. You're sure that's all they are? Friends? Yeah? What else would they be? I don't know. I got the impression that they were more than that. We stare at each other, and I'm so caught off guard by his insinuation that I don't really know what to say. Honestly, that did occur to me, but when it's something you've seen every day, it probably wouldn't occur to you. Is that even possible? I have no idea. But why not? Love comes in all kinds of forms. I give him an incredulous look. Nerissa and Kay, more than friends? I have to admit that it's a strange thought, but that might only be because it's one I've never had before. Cal may have some competition in knowing Kay and Nerissa's bond. I'm sorry to say that I'm not sure the odds are in his favor. Bash's eyes flicker to the side suddenly, and I follow his gaze. Oh, if you have somewhere else to be, don't let me stop you. Incline my head towards Riona, and his mouth drops open at the insinuation. Huh? No, it's just... I don't know if now is the best time to talk to her. I think now is the perfect time. I am absolutely pushing this. Actually, I think now is the perfect time. What if you don't get another chance? Bash hesitates, his gaze trailing the ground around his feet. What do I even say? Be honest, tell her how you feel. I don't want to ruin anything. You won't, I promise. He clamps his mouth closed and takes in a deep breath to steel himself. Then he gives me a bright smile, having made his decision. All right, just give me a few minutes to work up my courage, and I'll talk to her. I give him an excited pat on the arm, though I can see he's still riddled with nerves. Thanks for the advice, Taylor. Anytime. He steals another look at Riona before he turns back to me, rubbing a hand over the back of his neck nervously. So, hey, can I tell you something that's kind of embarrassing? Of course. He hesitates a little, and I encourage him with a smile and a nudge on the arm. I've never actually been to Goldus. Well, I've never set foot on the planet, anyway. Bash met Riona when she and a group of Tilaari were going around helping people who needed it. because, well, group of Tilaari, I guess I should say, because Tilaari is the planet. Anyway, Tilaari was very closed off and insular, and Riona rebelled by leaving the planet to go help people, because she's a medic. And one of the people they helped was Bash, when he got so beat up that his arm eventually needed to be replaced entirely. And when he woke up, he was kind of out of it and promptly asked Riona on a date, but she was with Sitlin at the time, and her girlfriend did not appreciate that. But I could see him at least saying, I could at least see him wanting to treat her to dinner or something just as a thank you, not anything more than that. I've only seen bits and pieces of it from the ship on the night of the coup. I feel like I'm the only one here who doesn't know what to expect when we get there. Bash, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I can explain a bit about where we're going if that will help. That would be amazing. I shake my head at him and chuckle lightly. He really didn't need to feel embarrassed by something like this. Alright, so we're touching down at the transport hub in the Silver District of Siltovai. It's full of all sorts of ships and aircrafts coming and going. The hub is where all the ships are security checked in the city. It's illegal to land outside of any of the transport terminals, and all the cities on Goldus have one. From there, the Gold District isn't far. You can get there on foot, though the train is faster. You can see gold from a mile away on all sides. The lights are blinding. I recall memories of the city and the times when Vex and I would sneak away from the palace to explore its many distractions. The place is full of color and light. Bars, restaurants, theaters, high-rise apartments. It's lavish, over the top, and everything there seems to be open 24/7. So a bit like New York, or at least from what I've heard about New York. Wait a minute. Sorry, my tablet is frozen apparently. There we go. It was stuck on a previous screen and hadn't changed. That sounds like my kind of party. Usually I think it would be, but Elisa mentioned there's a curfew in effect, so I'm expecting it to be a lot quieter than normal. The palace sits on the other side of the district from where we'll be entering. If we're lucky, security around the silver-gold border will be minimal. It's going to be tough, huh? Seeing your home in the hands of the enemy? It's not my home. It might be strange, but honestly, Siltovai doesn't feel like my home. I'm at home here, on this ship. It would feel more like returning somewhere I just used to live before I found where I belong. Wow, I'm glad we left such a good impression instead of scaring you away. You'll never get rid of me that easily. It's a shame that the first time you see Goldus will be like this. One day, when all this is over, let's explore the planet properly, once things are back to how they should be. Bash holds out a hand and I reach out to shake it in a silent agreement. It's a date. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a pretty lady to talk to and hopefully not make a fool of myself in front of. Good luck! Bash heads off to take care of business, leaving me to decide what to do next. Okay. Going down the list here. Hey, Captain. Hey, Stowaway. I love that it's become a nickname, a fond nickname. It used to be an insult and now it's just a pet name of sorts. Step up next to Calderon as he taps away on his holopad, his expression stern. Are you feeling any better today? With a sigh, he retracts his device, throwing it in his pocket before he shakes his head. He was a little nervous about returning to Goldus, and honestly, so is Sailor. Not really, if I'm being honest. This rumor about Zovak and some kind of weapon is not exactly welcome news. Tell me about it. The sooner we get to Goldus and remove Ren from the equation, the better. Cal sighs again, his mind seeming full of thoughts he's hesitating to say out loud. What's the matter? I know what we have to do. It's just that the closer we get to Goldus, the more I want to run away from it. If there's anything I can do to help, well, there is one thing. It's not important, but cutting himself short, he shakes his head fervently, and I don't miss the flash of red that surfaces on his cheeks. You know what? Never mind. Oh, come on, spit it out. He grinds his teeth together as he hesitates, eventually letting out a heavy breath of air. Well, it's about me and Nerissa. I mean, not that there is a me and Nerissa. I was just hoping, I suppose. But I wanted to ask, are you okay with it? Because if it's too weird for you, I'm happy to drop it. No, I am absolutely fine with it. Somehow I get the impression it would actually devastate him to drop it, but he doesn't have to, not on my account. I'm totally fine with it. In fact, I'm all for it. It would be nice to see you're happy with someone. You too. In that case, any idea how I can keep in touch with her while we're away? You know, in a non-official way. I grinned, but I refrained from teasing him. I could see how difficult it is for him to even ask. Yeah, a man like Cal is definitely hard to ask this kind of thing. She programmed her private contact details into my holopad. I'll send them to you. Thanks, Taylor. Oh, and mind if we keep this between us? The rest of the crew would be relentless if they found out I was harboring a secret crush on the potential future Queen of Celiota. Of course, your secret's safe with me. I didn't say out loud that they probably already know. No need to torture the poor guy any further. Right. For a moment, I wonder if I should bring up what Bash had suggested about Nerissa and Kay, but then I quickly decide that it's not my business. Let the three of them sort it out for themselves. And honestly, even if there is something between Nerissa and Kay, they can't have kids. So she kind of needs to find someone she can have kids with to continue the dynasty, so to speak. Or she can just decide that any children Taylor might have would be her heirs, like Thorin with Feely and Keely. But, I don't know actually. I haven't decided if Taylor is trans or not, but I've been kind of going off the idea that she's cis, so. Cal smiles at me before he glances around the bridge at the rest of the crew. You know, it's funny. When I first traded for this ship, I never expected we'd end up here. Granted, it was too big for just the two of us to run, so a crew was necessary. How did you end up recruiting them all anyway? His eyebrows knit together and his mouth presses into a thin line as some past memory comes over him. Some of them we already know how they ended up on the Andromeda Six, but Damon was first. He wasn't my first choice for the crew, or even my second, but we needed work and he had the knowledge and experience to help us along. At Damon's advice, we sought out June. He had a reputation amongst the mercenaries, and we were looking to take on some tougher jobs. Then came Bash. June found him in an old repair shop on Terranium, miserable and alone, and next thing we knew, we had an engineer. Rihanna was an old acquaintance of Sebastian's, one who needed a second chance. I couldn't argue that a medic wouldn't benefit us, and she's proved herself 10 times over. You were next, and our meeting was just as rocky as I'm sure the rest of them were. Cal flushes with guilt, but fails to hide the smile that peeks through. And our most recent recruit, Vex. I'm not so sure about him yet, but when I think about it, that's how I felt about everyone in my crew when we first met. I'm starting to think it's... What is it that Aya says? Oh yeah, it's a me problem. I don't think it's a problem at all. Honestly, Cal, I don't think it's a problem at all. Sure, it takes a while for you to warm up to someone, but you're exactly who you need to be. The captain of this ship and the leader of this crew, I don't think you should change anything about who you are or how you handle bringing new members onto your ship. If you don't stand up for us, who will? I think you might do a pretty good job of it. Wow, that actually means a lot coming from you. It's the truth. I see you taking more and more of a leadership role with the crew every day. I guess if I'm not careful, you'll have my title before too long. Captain Pegasi? Nah, it doesn't have the same kind of ring to it. Cal gives me a soft smile, the warmth in his eyes reflecting his thoughts. Despite our rocky beginnings, I'm proud of my crew. But yeah, Cal was just a bit of a... It just takes a while to warm up to someone, and that's not a bad thing. Every single one of us was in a bad way when we came aboard this ship, but we've helped each other overcome it. That's what true friends do. That's what a family does. Puts a hand on my shoulder as he smiles at me. Thank you for being a part of it, Taylor. I don't want to be anywhere else. With that, I leave the captain to his preparations, knowing we'll need to be ready if we have any hope of succeeding on Goldus. Okay, here we go! I find Damon standing in front of a large screen, dragging information across a panel with his fingertips. What are you doing? Top secret things. Like what? Like things that are top secret. I scoff as I narrow my eyes at him, and he sighs, relenting with the drop of his shoulders. I'm confirming our passage onto Goldus and making sure everyone involved knows what'll happen if they try to sell us out. Sounds reasonable. Sounds pretty reasonable to me. I thought it might. Damon turns back to his screen and his supposed death threats, though it looks more like he's checking the map to some kind of security system. So last night before Goldus, huh? How are you going to spend it? Steal a glance at Aya before raising an eyebrow at Damon. How do you think I'm going to spend it? Right? Wish I hadn't asked. You did. Are you going to spend some time with Elisa and Zane? Maybe spend with Elisa and Zane tonight? What makes you ask that? I give him a pointed look, but he doesn't budge. He's blushing! It's clear that there's something between the three of you. A spark, some might call it. You might not get another chance. Damon clears his throat, looking entirely uncomfortable with the topic. Considering the way he teases you if you flirt with him, this is hilarious. With the prospect of any of us dying tomorrow hanging over us, yeah, I don't know. There's no better time, don't you think? He turns away, but I don't miss a shake of his head and a small smile that peeks out. I hate it when you're right. Yes! Now leave me alone, I have work to do. I'm tempted to tease him more, but deciding I'd rather actually make it to Goldus in one piece, I leave Damon to his work. Okay, I look around for June, spying him leaving the bridge, but something about him seems off. Shoulders hunched, fists clenched. I hurry to catch up to him. June, is everything alright? Place a hand on his shoulder and he stops, turning towards me with a grimace. Now this is kind of funny because I kind of headcanon Taylor as being really tiny, like she's shorter even than Aya. How would they learn that it's never going to work? The Orionite playing with people's minds? Any of it? The only thing they're creating is more monsters. They're desperate, scrambling for some way to get the upper hand. Zovak stole the throne using the element of surprise, and now he has to find a way to keep it. June's face falls and he sighs, his eyes trailing the ground at his feet. I'm sorry, Taylor. I'm not angry at you. I'm just so tired of it all. Don't be sorry. I understand. Absolutely. If anyone's going to be pissed about this sort of thing, it absolutely would be June or even Vex. He sighs again and his shoulders drop with the action as he leans back against the wall. It was easy to forget all about it while we were on Tilaari. It was easy to be happy there. As soon as we left the planet, I found myself wishing I could go straight back. He hesitates as he looks away, playing with the bracelet around his wrist nervously. These bracelets were made by his brother, and they're all he has of him. I hope I'll get to go back one day. I think that we need to make sure there'll be a Tilaari to go back to. You're right. I give him a small smile, hoping it might bring him some comfort. Have you considered ever going back to Orion? He starts to open his mouth, but then stops suddenly, his forehead creased with lines. Maybe. I don't know. There are so many beautiful places on the planet, but also so many memories. That's fair. I understand. I feel the same way about Goldus. June looks up, something that seems like hope crossing over his face. Maybe one day we'll take a trip together. You could show me your planet, and I'll show you mine. Sounds like a plan. I like that a lot. I already know a bunch of places I'd take you. Yeah? Tell me about them. Glance to the side, compiling a mental list in my mind. Well, first we'd have to go to the zoo. It's one of my favorite places. Maybe one of the clubs in the Gold District. Some of them have private rooms where you can sing karaoke. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not a very good singer. June, I've heard you singing to Lizzie before. Trust me when I say you have a nice voice. You weren't meant to hear that, but thank you. It's cute. I can tell he's embarrassed, even though it's true, so I move on quickly. What about Orion? What would you show me there? The thermal caves. They have these natural heated pools that you can bathe in for hours. When I first escaped the facility, I head in the mountains and I go to those caves every day. The water felt good on my skin. It heals wounds faster than usual and helps with some of the scarring. He goes quiet, studying the thick raised lines of skin on his hands. How long were you alone in the mountains for? Not too long, maybe a month or so. I found my way to a city, and from there I managed to hitch a ride to Terranium with a group of mercenaries in exchange for helping them on a job. I didn't know much back then. All I knew was that I couldn't trust anyone, and that kept me safe, at somewhat distance from the rest of society. 1 second. There's a cat that wants in. about that. He's gonna keep rattling the do not disturb sign on my door if I didn't let him in. June glances past me, past the window of the ship, and out into the stars beyond, his thoughts a lifetime away from where we are now. And then he smiles as his eyes find me again, his head cocked to the side with affection. But things are different now. I found people I can trust. People like you, Taylor. I can't tell you, how much that means to me. I'm glad that you ended up here, June, with us. One day we'll visit the places from our past and hopefully make some new memories. And I'm not dropping the karaoke thing. One way or another, I'll get you to sing with me. You know what? I like you so much that I might let you talk me into it. Ah! One day. He pats me on the head affectionately, ruffling my hair with a soft laugh. We better go and check over our weapons. We're going to need them tomorrow. Rest up, Taylor, and if there's anything you need, let me know. Thanks, June. I will. June leaves the bridge with a wave, heading out to do what he does best, make sure we're all well protected. We're going to save Riona for last because I'm going to give Bash as much time to talk to her as possible. I head over to Vex, finding him seated in my usual chair at the navigation station. He stares at the screen in front of him, lost in thought. So, how's it feel to be part of the crew? And then he gets the chair and nudge him with a smile, hoping to lighten the mood, but he simply grimaces. Strange. I'm used to working on my own, mostly, though I'm sure I'll get used to it eventually. He glances up at me, attempting a small smile when he notices my raised eyebrows. Honestly, I'm just glad Calderon said yes. I don't know what I would do otherwise. I nod in understanding, because I don't know what he would do either. Saved on Tilaari and helped Narissa, perhaps? Though, given that Kay still looks at Vex like he's ready to rip him apart from the inside out, maybe it's not the wisest idea. I know how that feels, not knowing where you belong. You seem at home here, more so than the palace, anyway. You fit here. Looking around the bridge, I nod, because I know it's true. I'm glad you found your place, Taylor. Yeah, me too. I see you've met our new janitor. Damon saunters past with a smirk, ruffling Vex's scarlet hair as he winks at me. Piss off, Resner. Oh, feisty. I give Damon a disapproving look as he leaves, while Vex attempts to fix his messed up hair. Though Damon's comment was entirely uncalled for, it does make me think. What will you be doing around the ship? Bit of everything, I guess. Helping June with the guns, gathering intel for Damon, giving Bash a hand. No pun intended. Might even try my hand at navigation sometime. He taps on the screen in front of him and the LEDs light up to show a map of our location in the surrounding area. At first I had no idea how to read the thing. I couldn't tell a ship from an asteroid, but now I know at the glance that the space around us is clear of threats. Well, I'm still learning, but I'm sure I could teach you a thing or two. I'd like that. An alert pops up on the screen and I lean over him in the chair to deal with it. Feel his gaze on my face, making my skin prickle with heat. I'm close enough that I could feel the warmth of him through his jacket, and I remember how his body used to feel beneath my fingertips. I tap on the screen a couple of times to silence the notification. When I pull back and our eyes meet, I see my own memories reflected in his. Vex clears his throat and looks away quickly, and I shuffle a little further back. So, how do you feel about Lisa and Zane going after the doctor? He drops his eyes and shrugs, his mouth pulling into a tight line. It makes sense. I only wish I could look him in the eyes again and not be under his control, but I trust Narissa's judgment. I'm glad the two of you made up, by the way. Well, I'm sure it'll be a long road before being friends again, but it's a start. Vex stops suddenly, letting out a shaky breath. I notice the way his hands fall into fists in his lap. Are you nervous about returning to Goldus? He hesitates a moment, as though he might not want to admit what he's thinking, but then with a sigh he relents. Yes. The closer we get, the more I feel my grip on myself slipping. I'm worried what might happen if I snap completely. Should let Riona know. Maybe you should let Riona know how you're feeling. She's tasked with continuing your treatment, right? Yes, she is, and trust me, she already knows. In that case, if she's not worried, then neither am I. It'll be okay, Vex. He lets out a long breath and his shoulders seem to relax a little more. It means a lot to hear you say that. I can't say that I deserve your trust, but I'll take it nonetheless. Good. You should. Vex lets out a long breath before he pushes himself up from the seat, and I step back to give him space. I think I'll head to the infirmary. I'm not sure I'll get any sleep tonight without a little extra help. I nod to him as he leaves, and then he stops, turning to smile at me one last time. I'm glad I don't have to return to Goldus alone. And with that, he heads off to the infirmary, leaving me to deal with another set of alerts that have popped up on my screen. And speak to Riona. Head over to Riona, finding her attention fixed on the holopad she holds in her hands, her face lined with worry. pang of sadness hits me at the sight. I know all too well how it feels to worry about the people you love. We're gonna reassure her. I don't know if she'd welcome a hug. We'll all do what we can to make sure Tilaari stays safe, Riona. I promise. We'll stop Zovek before he has a chance to make a move. I'm just so worried. My father would never leave the planet if something were to happen. He's too proud. And I don't think the rest of my family would leave him on his own. She trails off as tears slip down her cheeks, her hands shaking while she wrings them in front of her. Then let's make sure we don't let it get to that. All we can focus on is what we do now and how we can help your family from where we are. Maybe I should have stayed on Tilaari. I should have stayed to help my father. No, Riona, this is where you're supposed to be. You'll see Eldred again. I know you will. Riona nods, steeling herself to put on a brave face. You're right. I have to believe that's true, or I'll be of no help to anyone. Absolutely. I should head to the infirmary. We'll need supplies to take with us to Goldus. There's no telling how long we'll be away from the ship. I nod in agreement before another thought crosses my mind. Riona, before you go, can I ask you something? Yes, of course. That plant in my room, the one with the pink flowers, what is it exactly? Riona seems caught off guard by the question, and then she laughs lightly, even while her eyes are still sparkling with tears. It's called Dwella's Desire. Oh, Taylor, it's... She laughs even harder, a pink tinge breaking out across her cheeks. Why are you laughing like that? It's an aphrodisiac. Sorry, what? Of course Damien would suggest that. I wonder for a moment if I've heard her right, until I remember it was Damon who suggested the plan. Riona giggles to herself again and again before she's able to compose herself enough to explain. The fragrance is pleasant enough on its own, but if you pluck the petals off and brew them into a tea, it's even more potent. Please tell me you had no part in this. Oh no, it was all Damon. I'm going to kill him. Since I don't have to clean up the mess, be my guest. Riona composes herself enough to breathe through the laughter and give me a fond smile. I'm sorry that it's at your expense, but it feels good to laugh like that. Thank you for helping to take my mind off things. Happy to be the butt of the joke whenever you need me. Oh, Taylor, it's not like that. The fact that Damon is pulling pranks on you goes to show how much he likes you. He wouldn't make the effort for most people. It's fine, it is pretty funny, and who knows, maybe I'll keep the plant. You should, if only because its flowers are so beautiful to look at. I let out a small laugh of my own. At least now I'll know better than to blindly trust Damon's recommendations in the future, but I'm glad the whole thing has brightened Riona's mood. And hey, as long as you don't brew the petals into a tea, it's fine. You want out? Already? You're not gonna curl up and go to sleep? Okay, 1 second. He got up in my window and then jumped down and was staring at the door. So I know that I noticed Bash hovering off to the side and realized that he's waiting to speak to Riona. Oh, Bash is heading this way. I'll leave you two to talk. Alright, get some rest, Taylor. I'll see you tomorrow. I leave Riona to her duties and take another look around the bridge. Okay, I don't know what's gonna happen when I head to my room, so there we go. Just saving. Head to your room. Leaving the bridge, I head towards my room to rest up before our mission tomorrow. The navigation systems are set and the plans are in place. The only thing left for me to do is mentally prepare myself for the task ahead. Stopping briefly at the window, I take a moment to study the view. To one side, I can see where our ship is attached to the space station, giving us access to Astra and its amenities. And in the distance, the ruins of Kitalphan. Astra itself is surrounded by an invisible force field, ensuring the nearby fragments don't float too close to the station and do any damage. I strain my eyes to see if I notice any part of the planet that I'd heard so much of from my mother, but it all looks like rock to me. It makes me sad to think of everything that used to exist there, of everything that was lost. A piece of my history, gone. Being here to see the ruins firsthand makes me want to help the other Kitalphans more than ever. Dragging myself away from the window, I continue on. I've almost made it to my door when I hear a set of light footsteps behind me, and I'm already anticipating Aya's bright smile as I turn to greet her. Hey you, I was hoping you'd want some company tonight. I grin at her, trying and failing to hide how happy I am that she tracked me down. Still, I can't stop myself from teasing her. Just a little. I didn't realize you were missing me so much. Her smile turns crooked, and I know she's picked up on my teasing by the sparkle in those pretty amethyst eyes. Well, that's the thing. I always miss you when you're not around. Aww. My heart skips a beat, and while I know I've just been beaten at my own game, I can also see that she's telling the truth. Oh boy. Let me make it up to you. If that's the case, then let me make it up to you. I wouldn't want you to keep missing out on me. Aya's lips court to the side, her demeanor turning flirtatious as she runs her finger across my jaw and ignites something within me. Sounds perfect. Maybe I can show you what you've been missing out on too. With my heart pounding in my ears, I have just enough presence of mind to hit the panel and open my bedroom door, pulling her inside right as her lips descend on mine. Sparks of dazzling electricity pulse through me, familiar but no less magical than the first time she made me feel this way. Aya takes a moment to shrug off her jacket, leaving it forgotten on the floor. I wrap an arm around her waist and pull her closer again, and she reaches up to cup my face and kiss me deep, angling her mouth over mine in a way that makes me see stars. We kiss for what feels like forever until my breath is short and my lungs demand air, but it's only when Aya pulls back that I let myself inhale a breath. Swallowing hard, I take in her disheveled appearance, the flushed face, heavy eyes, and starstruck smile. Knowing that I'm the one making her feel that way sends a ripple of pleasure through me. I hope you're planning on staying a while. She laughs at that, a smirk tugging at the edge of her lips. Unless you're planning on taking me out, you're stuck with me all night long. Would I ever do that to you? Come here. I take her by the hands and pull her with me as I walk backwards towards the bed, trusting I won't trip over anything on the way. Kicking off my boots, I sit and scoot over on the mattress, giving her plenty of room to get comfy beside me. Clearly, Aya has other ideas. My stomach flutters with unseen butterflies as she crawls over the bed towards me, then straddles my hips, her eyes heavy and her smile wicked. Okay, we're absolutely saving. Keep going. The desire was shown on my face because as Aya settles her hips over mine, I can see it mirrored in her own eyes. Is this okay with you? It's better than okay. It's perfect. Aya positions her hand on my chest, her smile turning soft as she looks down at me. You're perfect. I reach for her, my hand sliding through her hair and cupping the back of her head, guiding her downward until her lips once again meet mine. The way her tongue slides into my mouth and teases my own is enough to drive me crazy. My clothes chafe against my skin, an unacceptable barrier between us. I need them off as soon as humanly possible. Between kisses, I fumble for the bottom of her singlet, urging her to pull it up and over her head, her bra soon following, exposing herself to both my hungry stare and the cold air of the ship. I slip an arm around her waist as I sit up, my mouth on her in an instant. My lips and tongue warming those peaked and pebbled mounds. Okay, maybe I should have gone with fade to black. Aya tips her head back and gasps my name, urging me on, and somehow, between our kissing and desperate fumbling, we managed to add the remainder of our clothes to the pile already forming on the floor. Flip Aya onto her back, my fingertips kissing her stomach, down her thighs, between her legs. When she halts me with a teasing grin, I'm about to protest until she's kissing me again, and I forget how to speak, think, or breathe anything that isn't her and her alone. What follows is a master course of resistance and hot, wet, aching need until Aya at last decides to take pity on me and finally gives me what I can't wait any longer for. And I can't stop myself from being in complete and utter awe of her beauty. Between gasps and moans, I repay the pleasure she gives me tenfold, worshipping her body like the goddess she is. It's not due to lack of want, but rather lack of energy that causes us to eventually collapse back on the bed, entangled and breathing hard. I don't know how long we stay like that, based on the actor's love of our pleasure, but it's long enough that I'm startled as she rolls onto her side and points a finger towards the ceiling. Not that I'm still completely mind-blown from all that, but I can't stop looking at that plant hanging up there. Is it new? I tilt my head back and follow the point of her finger, finding the hanging basket in question. Yeah, I got it on Tilaari. Aya shifts next to me, and I realize at once I've opened the floodgates of her curiosity. Ugh? What did that plant do to you? Well, nothing. It's just... Yes? A warm flush creeps up my neck onto my face, but I know I have little choice but to tell her the truth. I purchased it before I knew what it actually was, which is a flower that enhances certain bedroom activities. Half a beat passes before Aya starts to laugh, almost choking on the force of her surprise. You mean to tell me you bought a fuck flower and you had no idea? It was Damon's fault. Oh, sure it was. And also, that's a really weird thing to call it. Buckflower? I think it's genius, and anyway, you're the one who bought it. Glower at her, unamused. Is my embarrassment amusing you? Hey, look at it this way. At least I got a good laugh out of it. So I guess I am more comfortably knowing that as the silence stretches between us, it becomes heavier. I guess I'm not the only one whose thoughts are drifting to tomorrow. Aya smiles slightly when I nuzzle my nose against her cheek, and I'm just about to open my mouth to speak when she beats me to it. So how are you feeling about tomorrow? Her voice is small, and it only makes me want to hold her tighter and tell her a lie, that I'm not scared, that everything will be totally fine. But I know I can't do that. I'm worried about all of it. Not knowing what's going to happen is the hardest part. Tell me about it. Aya grimaces, the look on her face pained. In an instant, her expression flickers, replaced by something with a harder edge. I'm so worried about the crew and about you. Your name makes you a target more than the rest of us. If they do anything to hurt you, then I hope you'll strike back at them twice as hard. She locks her bright eyes on me, her expression burning hot. I don't dare interrupt her. I'm serious, Taylor. I've already lost so many people. I can't add you to the list. I won't do it. But worse than the fear, there's this part of me, and I'm almost ashamed to admit it, that's glad we're going after Ren. I know it won't bring Akira back or fix any of the destruction the Chimera have already caused, but at least it will stop them from hurting anyone else. And I guess that's as close to justice as I'll ever get. Reach out to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear before I lean in and kiss her on the forehead. We'll make it happen, Aya. I promise. She attempts a small smile, but I can tell that there's more on her mind, more that seems to be weighing on her. I feel better knowing we have people on the ground helping us get onto the planet, but for the most part, we're on our own. And I trust every member of this crew with my life, including Vex. Surprisingly, he's come a long way since Cursa. But knowing that the responsibility of taking out a key player is on our shoulders, it's a lot. Yeah, it's pretty scary. You're right, it's a daunting task. I hope we can get it done. We'll try our best, right? Always. She gives me a small smile, but I'm not sure that either of us are convinced. Let's not spend all our time worrying, not when I just want to enjoy this time with you. I agree, so what do you want to talk about instead? Anything you want. Aya's lips twist to the side, giving me a wry smile. Am I going crazy, or was Cal making eyes at your sister on Tilaari? A laugh escapes me, but I try to keep the volume down, lest I incur the captain's wrath. Yeah, as much as he likes to think he is, the captain's not exactly subtle. Right? Well, I think Nurse is way too cool for that dork. You've got to admit that it's pretty cute. You think my sister is cool? Second only to you, duh! She tickles me and I manage to fight her off, only for her to attack my hands and arms with kisses instead. Once the laughter subsided and we're snuggled up closely once more, I run my fingers through her hair, earning a contented sigh. Let's talk about what we want to do after all this. The future is wide open. If you could do anything, what would it be? She blinks, a little caught off guard, but soon enough her expression turns into a thoughtful smile. Anything? I think if I could do anything, I'd still want to work with Kadar and find some place for the Kitalphans. That doesn't surprise me one bit, but I was hoping for an answer that's more about what you want for yourself. She scrunches her nose in thought, and I get the impression that it's not something she's ever really let herself think about. For starters, I'd like to have my own ship, something small and speedy, and who knows, maybe I'll even call myself Captain. Captain Ikeda? It's got a ring to it. She giggles as she squeezes me tighter. And then later, I'd like to have a family. A really big one. I don't really care if they're my own kids or just ones who need a home. Maybe there'll be a mix. But I want a home that's the center of every holiday and birthday, so busy and full of love that it never knows an empty moment. When she speaks, I swear I can see it. This dream of hers that I think one day could easily become mine too. You'd be an amazing mom, Aya. Oh, thank you, Taylor. I smile at her at the way her eyes shine with emotion, and how she seems so full of life she's ready to bounce off the bed at any moment. This might be a little silly, but I'd love to have room for some pets too. Maybe a rescue cat or two. Maybe add an assembly for Boss. Or 3? I love cats. Or even 3. Wow, you really like cats, huh? Yeah, don't laugh, okay? But when I was little, Nerissa gave me this picture book. It's called The Adventures of Mr. Fluffington, and it was all about this floofy ginger cat and all the trouble he would get into. Aya bites down on her lip. I can tell she's trying not to laugh out loud. I've pretty much wanted a cat ever since. So what I'm hearing is that it's now our mission to find you a fluffy ginger cat to adopt and to call it Mr. Fluffington. Hey, Mrs. Fluffington would work too. She laughed out loud this time, unable to hold it in any longer. Gods, you're so adorable. Aya tangles her legs with mine, letting out a contented sigh as she sinks deeper into the pillows. So, apart from the whole pet thing, what else do you want for the future? Ooh. I don't know. There. The D4 was already here. Okay. Actually, we're gonna do a D6. Oops. Oops. I did not mean to do that. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I roll a 6, then I'll roll again. 4. To have a family. What you were saying before about having a big family, one that you can celebrate everything with in a home that's full of love. Oh, hang on. I'm keeping track of things. That's what I want. That's what I've wanted all my life. I have you, Narissa, and Kay, and the crew, and that's a good start, but I want more. Aya's eyes shine brighter than the stars outside, her warm smile filling me with a feeling I can hardly describe. I want that too, so much. But I also want to remember the good times with the family we've lost. Swimming in the ocean with my parents, learning old family recipes from my grandma, and Akira. I want to remember everything about my brother. Do you have any memories like that? Oh! Ah! Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have a D6. If I roll a 6, then I'll roll again. 4 again. Of Noah. One day before Noah moved out of the palace, I came across him sketching in the gardens. He always seemed so sad, always moping around the palace, not talking to anyone, anyone but Oberon. If I remember, Oberon was... I can't remember. Think back on my brothers and how Noah had always followed Oberon around like a lost little puppy, till one day he just stopped. His sketches were pretty dark, but that day in the garden he handed me a pencil and some paper, and we sat there for hours just drawing, neither one of us saying a word. There was something nice about that. Aya's face falls, and all of a sudden she holds me a little tighter. I don't know if I've ever said this, but I'm sorry for what happened to your family. Thanks, Aya. The more time goes by, the more I wish things could have turned out differently. I attempt a small smile as I look at her and brush a dark lock of hair away from her face. All we can do now is look ahead. We fall into a comfortable silence, and I feel the brush of her warm lips against my cheek just as my fingers move to stroke her hair. We're so close together that I can feel her heartbeat next to mine, the steady cadence almost sending me to sleep. Still, I fight against the urge, keeping my eyes open and senses awake, not yet ready to let go at this moment. Tomorrow we'll have to face the unknown, but tonight at least is just for us. The next day I wake with a knot in my stomach and a weight on my chest. This is it. Today we return to Goldus and fight our toughest battle yet. Ayame had left a little earlier, heading back to her room to get ready for the day. I spend the morning getting in some last-minute training and the afternoon helping various members of the crew get things ready for our departure. The evening comes around all too quickly, and after showering and getting dressed, I leave the comfort of my room before I have time to fall into my thoughts and psych myself out. When I reach the bridge, only Calderon and Damon are there, the command team discussing the plan for tonight. The captain looks up as I approach, the look on his face so grim that it gives me a bad feeling about what's going on here. Taylor, I'm glad you're here. We could use your help. Of course, what do you need? Over here. I follow Damon to the large monitor that I often see him working at, and this time when he points to the screen, I immediately recognize the satellite rendering of Sultavai. Notice anything unusual? I lean forward, my eyes tracing the streets and alleys of the capital city. There are familiar places within the map, areas like the zoo and the main hub of the gold district that I remember from my adventures with Vex. First class, nothing seems out of the ordinary, but when I look closer, When was this image taken? 2 hours ago. Curfew isn't yet in effect. Squinting my eyes at the image, I try to make sense of what I'm seeing, but I can't come up with any explanation. The city is empty. Bingo! But why? That's what we're trying to figure out. Calderon scowls at the image on the monitor like it's a puzzle he can't quite solve. Either they've evacuated the entire city, which is highly unlikely, or they've got everyone locked up in their homes. The cogs in my mind begin to turn, putting the pieces together. They know we're coming. It's the most likely answer, yes. But the real question is how? I turned the question over in my mind. Aldred had mentioned Chimeri spies in the ranks, but there's also another option, one that I hardly want to consider. I hate to say it, but could Vex have something to do with it? Do you think? I hesitated a moment more, and if I should really say it out loud. If I do, there's no taking it back. I think Vex could have something to do with this. No, I don't think this is him. Damon considers the question further, rubbing his chin in thought. But I don't blame you for asking. Things were touch and go with him for a while there. I agree. Both Rihanna and Damon have been keeping a close eye on him, and while it's not impossible, there's nothing to suggest that he's responsible for this. Think back to my conversation with Vex last night, how he admitted that he could feel his grip on himself slipping. Was that only his fear of returning to Goldus or something more? Still, I say nothing else on the matter. So what do? We've got two options, proceed as planned, or pull out and double back to Tilaari to form a new plan. Damon makes a sound as though he doesn't entirely agree with the captain. We've come this far already. I say we keep going. That might not be the best idea. It's not just us, Elisa and Zane would say the same. Carsons don't run from a fight. There might not be much of a fight if we're heading into a trap. Oh, it's a trap. There's no doubt about that. Cal shakes his head at Damon's comment, and with a relenting sigh, he turns to me. Taylor, what do you think? I consider the options carefully before weighing in on the situation. On one hand, Damon could be right, and we may be walking into a trap. But if we do nothing, we give Zovak the time to work on a weapon that could wipe all of us from existence. We can't turn back now. We're so close, and with the threat of this weapon he's working on, I just don't see how we have any other choice. Calderon sighs again, but he nods in acceptance. Gods, I hope we're making the right decision. I don't want to think about the consequences of us choosing wrong. Then it seems I'm overruled. Taylor set a course for Goldus. Got it. Following the captain's orders, I head for my station and bring up the monitor mapping out the course between Astra and Goldus. What once would have taken days to travel will now take only hours, thanks to our new hyperspeed drive from Tilaari. But it's not getting to Goldus that's the problem, it's what will happen once we're there. Footsteps alert me to Calderon's presence, and when I look up at him, I see the worry that lines his face. Taylor, say nothing to the crew for the moment. I'll tell them what's happened when they arrive. His face drops. I can guess what he's thinking. Our odds of this mission being a success have dropped drastically. Honestly, me personally, as the player, not as Taylor, I never expected it to actually go smoothly. I think it's only fair that they're able to choose whether they come with us or not. But if they choose to stay behind, they won't. With a small smile, Cal heads over to his station, his voice echoing through the speakers as he calls the rest of the crew to the bridge. It's only after he's left that Damon comes over to me, his hands shoved in the pockets of his coat as he hovers nearby. Hey, thanks for having my back before. You were right, we've come too far to go back now. He leans in a little, his voice conspiratorially low when he speaks again. So you up for kicking some Chimeri ass? To be honest, I'm pretty nervous. I'm not sure if I can hack it out there. Stay behind me. In that case, I'll keep you safe. He looks at me in such a way that I know he's telling the truth. In this moment, I can hardly find the words to tell him how much that means to me, but I think he already knows it. The crew soon arrives on the bridge, each one of them taking this new information on board and making the decision to come with us or stay behind. To his credit, Calderon was right, and within the hour, each and every one of us is ready to depart for Goldus. A few hours later, we emerge from hyperspeed, and though I doubt my body will ever truly get used to the sensation the medicine Riona had given me to take before we traveled has helped. I peer out the window at the front of the bridge, seeing Goldus for the first time in over a month, and a torrent of emotions rushed through me. Kinda reminds me of Coruscant from Star Wars. Calderon unbuckles himself from his seat and stands, turning to face us all. Let's take a quick breather. Damon is getting in touch with our contacts on the ground, so we'll need to wait here for the time being. He starts to turn away, but thinks better of it, hesitating a moment before he speaks again. And I just want to say thank you, everyone, for agreeing to this. To be honest with you, I'm not sure we would have stood a chance without all of us here, together. I'm grateful that you all chose to stand together as a crew. We wouldn't have it any other way, Cap. The rest of us agree with Bash, and Cal gives us all a sheepish smile before he clears his throat and steps back into the role of our captain. Wrap up any last-minute business. As soon as Damon gives the word, we've prepared to land. Unclasping my seatbelt, I push myself to my feet, wobbling for only a second before regaining my balance. I roll my shoulders, stretching out the muscles when Beck steps over to me, his face unreadable. Ready for this? Yeah. You? I zip to the ground, and I wonder what kind of thoughts are running through that head of his, and how much he's holding back. As ready as I'll ever be. It'll be strange, don't you think, heading back to Tilaari? Last time we were there together was trail off memories of laughter and lights and music flooding me and making me remember everything that's happened since then. Feels like it was another life. Kind of was. We saw each other for a moment, and my thoughts immediately turned to that smiling boy who would lay on the grass with me in the sunshine. I know he's still in there somewhere. Just wanted to say, in case I don't get another chance, that you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. And if something happens to me, Bex, stop. Nothing's going to happen to you. I won't let it. He smiles at me, a little of that familiar brightness creeping back onto his face and into those emerald eyes. All right, let's make a deal. You watch my back, and I'll watch yours, like old times. It's a deal. He sticks out a hand, and I shake it in confirmation, knowing I'll feel better having him and his keen eyes watching out for me. I'll leave you to get ready. See you on the ground, princess. I watch him as he heads over to Damon, and I can't shake the sense that something is going on with him. Definitely. Maybe it's something, or maybe he's just nervous about going home, but after the treatment he received on Tilaari, I thought he was doing okay. Looking around, I notice that Aya is still in her seat. I head over to see how she's doing, and it's only when I step closer that I see the tears rolling down her face as she struggles with her seatbelt. Oh no! Aya! Aya, what's wrong? Can't get the strap off. I can't. Let me help you. Gently I take the strap from her trembling hands and unclasp the buckle in the middle, freeing her from the seat. Aya attempts a small smile as thanks, but her eyes are watery when she turns to me. I'm sorry, I'm not crying about the seatbelt. Not really. I'm scared, Taylor. Can I stop thinking that something bad is going to happen? I reach for her face, softly brushing away her tears with my fingertips. I'm scared too, but if we don't do this, worse things will happen. I'll be with you the whole time. Taking her hands in mine, I squeeze them tight. Breaks my heart to see her like this, but I'm determined to be strong for the both of us. You're right, I can do this. Aya sniffles a little, and this time when she smiles, she fixes me with her warm gaze. You're amazing, you know that? Okay, hang on. So the music is a little loud. There we go. I think you're pretty amazing too. Tugging me closer by the front of my jacket, she pecks me on the lips quickly and then pulls back again. Feeling nowhere near satisfied, I cup her face in my hands and kiss her again, feeling her smile against my lips as she relaxes into me. We hang out together for a little longer, savoring these last moments of safety before the captain announces that it's time. We all gather together, waiting as Damon pulls himself away from the monitor and strides over to us, his face giving away nothing. The bad news is that all communication is dark. I can't get in touch with anyone on the ground. I tried a couple of security bypasses, but no luck. Our channels to Lisa and Kadar are also offline. Great! What could be causing that? Some kind of jammer. Most likely something on the planet blocking our communication systems. So what's the good news? They share a few looks, apprehension hanging thick in the air. It comes clear after a few moments that there is no good news, and we really are going into this mission blind. Listen, it's clear that they're expecting us, but we don't know what else they know. These may only be preliminary precautions on their part. With the CD installed on our ship, we can't be tracked on any radar, so it's likely they don't know we're here yet. We have a plan. As long as we stick to it, things will work out. Calderon looks confident, and while I don't immediately share his enthusiasm, I have to force myself to stay positive. There's too much at stake to think otherwise. Half of our crew know the city well. Me, Cal, Aya, and Vex. This is our home, and it's been infiltrated by outsiders. We can use that to our advantage. There are a few nods from the crew, who all listen to me intently. Vex grew up in the Silver District. He can guide us from the terminal, and once we get to Gold, which I'm sure Calderon knows like the back of his hand, he can take over. We'll take the back streets and alleys, all the places the Chimeri have no knowledge of. The longer we remain undetected, the better chance we have of catching Ren off guard. It's a good plan, I gotta say, it might just work. Give Damon a grateful smile. It's a simple plan, to be sure, but it'll be effective enough if it works. And right now, the crew need all the confidence they can get. While everyone busies themselves getting strapped into their seats, Calderon seems to have let his mind drift elsewhere. He stands in the middle of the bridge, his eyes fixed on the planet in front of us. Slowly, I step forward and place a hand on his shoulder. Cal, everything okay? He covers his head with a shake and turns to give me a smile. It's all good. You ready to go? With a nod, I head over to my station and get belted in, looking ahead as I and Calderon start preparing the ship for landing. My stomach flips with apprehension. This is it. We're almost there. No turning back now. Ayame pilots the ship to the Silver District terminal with no issues, but both the city and the terminal itself are quiet. Too quiet. On entry, we encounter no resistance, no enemy ships, nothing at all. We gather together in the dock of the ship, the 7 of us surrounding the captain, ready for our orders. He faces us with a stern expression, the very picture of a leader, but there's something strange in his look that I can't quite place. The weapons ready? We'll disembark in teams of 2. Ayame and I will go first to make sure the coast is clear. Once we make confirmation, June and Bash will spread out and establish a safe zone. Taylor and Vex, you'll be next. Keep your guard up as the rest of us sweep the area. And lastly, Damon and Riona. If all goes to hell, take the ship and get your asses back to Astra. As if we'd leave any of you here. Calderon makes a face which Lily might argue against Damon, but then he drops his shoulders, thinking better of it. Fine, you're right. We're in this together. Calderon looks around at all of us, taking a deep breath, and before he nods, signaling his readiness. Let's do this. I glance over at Aya, who blows me a kiss before getting herself ready to depart. As Calderon and Ayame descend the opening ramp into the terminal, I pat myself over to make sure my gear is in place. The longer blade I picked up on Tilaari is secured in a sheath around my thigh, and I since added a couple of smaller daggers to my arsenal, readily concealed within hidden pockets in my jacket. The knife I received from Damon is in a sheath around my cap, in case I need it for backup. I tug the metal bracelet that covers my non-dominant forearm and part of my hand, ensuring it's firmly in place. There's also a small comm device snugly fitted in my ear, which will allow me to communicate with the crew. It's through this device that I now hear Calderon's voice, alerting Bash and June that the coast is clear. A small breath of relief, grateful that they hadn't run into any trouble, but the nerves in my stomach pick up as my time to descend the ramp draws near. Bash and June head out, and I step up next to Vex, awaiting our signal. I feel the heat from his gaze as he turns to me. Remember, Taylor, this is our home. We can't let Zobak and the Chimeri get away with what they've done. He holds his rifle at the ready, and I have to admit that I'm glad to have someone as experienced as him heading out there with me. You're right, we won't let them get away with it any longer. He gives me a small smile, adjusting the grip on his weapon. I've got your back. Cal gives the next signal, and with my boots echoing down the ramp, we exit the ship and enter the Silver District terminal. The first thing that takes me aback is the enormity of the building. I had expected big, since the place was meant to accommodate all kinds of ships. But actually being here for the first time has left me a bit awestruck. The second thing is how quiet it is. Before the descent of the ramp before us are up ahead, checking ships and behind equipment for any signs of life. Everything looks clear, Captain. June and Bash are the furthest away from Vex and I, one on each side of the building, sweeping to make sure it's safe. Cal! At Ayame's shout, I whipped towards Calderon and Ayame, finding the captain glued to the spot, his head bowed, his shoulders rising and falling with quick, rapid movements. Cal? Panic rises in me, but I manage to swallow it down as I hurried towards him, stowing my weapons. Aya stands aside, her eyes wide and her hands covered in her mouth as she watches on. What's wrong? Can't breathe. He sinks to his knees, his weapons forgotten on the ground beside him, and I hear light footsteps beside me as Damon rushes to his side. He's having a panic attack. Cal drops his head, his hand gripping the uniform over his chest while Damon unbuttons the top of his collar to help him breathe. I catch a glimpse of the raised scar that covers his neck and travels down to his shoulder, and I wonder how he got it. His chest heaves as he sucks in lungfuls of air. You can see that while he's trying to calm himself, it isn't having much of an effect. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, just breathe, deep and easy. That's it. Damon drops her knee beside him, my hand on the captain's shoulder, while Aya takes his other side. It's just being back here, after everything, and not knowing my parents. Oh, we are absolutely supporting him, poor man. I'm on my knees with him in an instant, trying my best not to crowd him, but to let him know that we're all here to support him through this. It's all right, Cal. You've got all the time in the world. Breathe with me. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out. Breathe with him. Long, deep inhales and steady exhales until some of his trembling begins to ease. That's it. You've got this. Look up and tell me what you see. Cal raises his head slowly, and I give him an encouraging smile, despite the panic pounding of my heart. Taylor. Good. What can you smell? Ayame's perfume. What do you feel? Damon squeezes Cal's shoulder in encouragement and can see that whatever he's doing is working. Your hand on my shoulder. Focus on those things. They'll help you through this. The captain takes in another couple of deep breaths before he lowers his head again, his eyes squeezed shut. I'm sorry. You've got nothing to be sorry for. We're here for you. Just tell us what you need. Aya leans her head on his shoulder, her face shadowed with worry. This is good. It's helping. After a few more moments, Damon holds out a hand to help the captain to his feet, giving him the time to slowly stand. I'm sorry, Cal. I could see that something was going on with you, but I didn't know what. It's not your fault. I didn't even think that. I should have opened up more. He hesitates and drops his head. Though his breathing has evened out, his voice is still raspy when he speaks. I should have trusted you all instead of taking on everything on my own. That's in the past now. We have to focus on how we can help you move forward. Is there anything you need right now? I don't know. I'm not sure what will help. Hugs always help me when I'm feeling down. Cal smiles at her, and I see the bond between them, how strong their friendship is. Yeah, maybe I should give that a try. Do I want to hug him or do I want Aya to hug him? I'm gonna hug him. Step forward and open my arms and offer him. With a sheepish smile, he steps into my hug. If all goes the way I hope it does, he's gonna be my brother-in-law anyway. He breathes in deep and I hold on tight. I can still feel him shaking, so I let him stay this way as long as he needs to. It doesn't take long until I hear Aya giggle and then wrap her arms around the both of us. Then another pair of arms join hers, and another, until the entire crew is gathered around their captain, hugging him tight. And the gesture would be heartwarming if I wasn't completely crushed between them all. I'm trying to help him breathe, remember? Not suffocate him more. There are a series of laughs and giggles as everyone pulls back again, and Cal shakes his head as he chuckles softly. Surprisingly, that helped. Told ya! So, will you tell us what's going on now? Calderon hesitates. I know that even now, after what just happened, it's still difficult for him to open up. I feel like everything's crashing down on me. Every time I solve one problem, another 3 pop up in its place. It's like there's no end. I can understand how he feels. He's been holding this crew together for so long. He's been the strength and leader that everyone needed without any consideration for himself. It's no wonder he reached a breaking point. You're not alone. Let us take over. Vex and I know where to go. We'll show everyone the way. We've all learned from you in some way. We know what to do. You can take a step back. He nods and takes in another deep breath. His shoulders shudder, and when he exhales, he seems to breathe a little easier. Thanks, Stowaway. Riona comes forward, her footsteps clipped and her face lined with worry. We should head back to the ship. I can look you over. No, I'll be fine. Riona gives him a look, and he relents with a drop of his shoulders. We all know he isn't fine. I'm okay to keep going for now. I'll let you check me out as soon as we return to the ship. Riona nods, and while I know she's not happy with the decision, she accepts it. Damon? Calderon turns to her second command, his expression somber. I don't trust myself to make the best decisions for the crew while we're here, so you're in charge. You're making me captain? Cal lets out a sigh, so he might immediately regret the decision. Temporarily. Don't let it go to your head. Captain Resner. I like the sound of that. Damon. I'm just kidding, you know I've got this, but every good captain needs a second. Damon turns to me and cocks his head to the side, his smile only widening as he assesses me. You up for it, Taylor? Why, me? Surely there's someone better, someone that's been on the crew longer. You know, Goldus, you're more of a leader than you might think. I have been stepping up and making speeches and leading things and stuff. He's right. It should be you. I hesitate a little, weighing the options. It means a lot to me that they both think I'm up to the task, so I think the issue lies with me believing in myself. Alright, I'll do it. But I can't promise I'll be any good at it. David scoffs, but I can tell that he's happy with the decision I've made. Oh, you're breaking my heart. You'll do just fine. And I'm still here in case there's anything you need. I just need to take a back seat for a while. I nod, and with their support, I start to feel a little more confident. Alright, hands up. Don't come any closer. What did my brother send me? There's a cat on his bed. Under the covers. At the sound of Bash's shouts, we rush over, finding him and June, guns raised at two unfamiliar figures who have appeared. Drawing my knife in anticipation, raising my bracer and taking a defensive position. They hesitate, hands raised in front of them as they stop in their tracks and stare at us. Bash, put your gun down! Naomi rushes past Bash and June, and to my surprise, she flings herself at one of the figures in a hug. Katie! Aya! Oh God, it's so good to see you! I look over the woman that Aya seems to know, knowing her warm smile and soft eyes. She's dressed in casual clothes, but I don't miss the large pistol sitting in its holster at her hip. Katie returns Aya's embrace, though when she spots Calderon, she straightens and gives him a nod. Commander? It's good to see you, Katie. Aya turns to the rest of us with a broad smile and ushers the other woman forward. This is Katie Sang-Vi. She was in our unit in the Bronze District and helped us organize our landing here. We all nod at Katie in greeting before our attention snaps to the other man at her side. Commander Lynch, I'm relieved to see you made it. Cal steps forward to shake the man's hand, the two of them seeming familiar with one another. I relax my stance, now confident that we're not under any kind of threat. Commander Quan, thank you for your assistance. Of course, it was the least I could do. Commander Quan frowns. I swear for a moment a look of guilt flashes across his face. He takes in a deep breath and pins Cal with a firm stare. I must apologize for Lieutenant Larson's actions. If I'd known what he was planning with the Chimeri. Calderon's face drops, and he nods in acknowledgement. I see a hint of emotion crawl into his eyes, but he manages to keep himself steady. It's not your fault. Jasper acted of his own accord. Still, he was a lieutenant in my district. I'm sorry that you paid the price of his deceit. Jasper was a guard member in the Silver District then, and Calderon had already mentioned that Sela was a singer in a Gold District club. And then the two of them had betrayed him and left him for dead. The memories that this place is dredging up for the man must be awful. There's a pause, perhaps a slight hesitation before Cal speaks again. Any word on where he is now? Last I heard, he was sent to Orion to assess damages to the mines and Orionite facilities. Your handiwork, I suppose? Cal nods, and Commander Quan gives him a small, knowing smile before he turns to me. You're the Pegasi. I'm Ji-Hoon Quan, Silver District Commander. We saw your broadcast on Tilaari. We're with you, Princess Taylor. Commander Quan kneels before me, and Katie swiftly follows suit, their heads bowed in respect. Whoa! Please stand. You don't have to kneel. And just call me Taylor. I hold out a hand, and Katie smiles as she takes it and lets me help her to her feet. Commander Quan stands and acknowledges my request with a nod. Very well. We're with you, Taylor. However we can assist you, please let us know. As I think you already know, we're here to take down Ren Corel and weaken the Chimeri. We've heard they're patrolling the Gold District, but we don't know the numbers they have with them or the exact location. Any information or backup that you can provide us would be appreciated. This is Damon Resner. He'll be leading our crew while we're here on Goldus. Quan gives Cal a pointed look before he inclines his head to Damon in an affirmative nod. Captain Resner? And visitors she smirked, knowing Damon will be completely eating this up. Commander, let's get down to business, shall we? Quan inclines his head, and I take that as a cue to start asking questions as the acting second in command. Do you know anything about what's jamming our communications? No, not much. It's only tonight that the comms have gone down. We didn't know for sure if you were still coming, but your comrades passed through here earlier, heading for Bronze. Elisa and Zane? Yep, that's them. Katie smiles before her face twists into a look of distaste. Ren is holed up in Gale Plaza in the center of the Gold District. There are dozens of Chimeri crawling through the district. From what we've seen, it looks like they're waiting for something. Us, no doubt. Damon frowns and I take a moment to glance around the terminal. Besides Commander Quan and Katie, this place seems deserted. How many of you are there? About 20 here at the terminal working out of sight, but there are others we can pick up along the way. Not enough. I resist the urge to elbow Damon for his bluntness. It'll have to do. What's your weapon situation like? Well stocked. Novak believes we're loyal to him. Katie lets out a little laugh, her fingers trailing over the body of her pistol. He won't after tonight. We've already had to dispatch half a dozen Chimeri to keep the terminal clear for you. Damon gives me a look and I know what he's saying, even without words. Nothing about this situation is in our favor. Get the others and meet us at the plaza. Take out any Chimeri you run into along the way. Stay hidden until the fighting starts. We'll head out first and make sure the path is clear for you. Here, take this comm device. If you run into any trouble, let us know. I take the device and give them each a smile, thankful for any help at all that they're able to provide. Thank you, Commander. And you, Katie. Good luck. We'll see you soon. Footsteps echo from behind Katie and Commander Quan, and when I look past them, I see a pair of familiar figures heading our way. Tomi! Hello, Aya. What are you doing here? I glanced over the swordsman. I'd seen him on Tilaari with Kadar, but had only spoken a few words with him during my time there. If you pick a different way of defending yourself, if you pick firearms and you work with Tomi and Kadar instead of Elisa and Narissa. From what I know, he's an ex-member of the Rosanna's Guard and a close friend of Kadar's who had been helping him in the Kitalphans. Princess? He inclines his head to me in greeting, his blonde hair falling effortlessly around his face. I was sick of sitting around on Tilaari and thought I'd come to lend a hand. I brought this one with me, too. Oppo does not want to be here, but Oppo wants to help their friends. I smiled at Oppo, happy to see them. Despite no doubt being afraid to be here, they came anyway. You'll be just fine, Oppo. Tomi gives Oppo a reassuring pat on the shoulder before he turns to me again. We're with you. Just tell us what you need. I give him a grateful smile, and a little bit of the knot in my stomach begins to unravel. I'm glad you're both here. We can use all the help we can get. Commander Quan and Katie say their goodbyes as they take their unit and head out towards Gel Plaza to wait for us, and the rest of us gather together in the terminal. Knowing that we have allies on our side is helping to ease my doubts, and I hope that wherever Zane and Elisa are, their mission is going well. Alright everyone, come in close. Let's go over the plan. Once we leave this terminal, Vex will guide us to the edge of the Silver District. From there, he and Taylor will show us a way through the back streets of Gold, taking us towards Gel Plaza. Our job, once we reach the plaza, is surveillance. We need to remain undetected in order to scope out the situation and decide how to attack. Taking Ren and the Chimeri by surprise will be our biggest advantage. I nod along with the crew, understand the situation. Vex and I know plenty of alleyways and secret spots in the Gold District, having used them whenever we would sneak into the city. Getting to Gel Plaza shouldn't be a problem, but once we're there... Tomi, will you fight with us? I eyed Tomi's sword, knowing how capable he is with it, especially being ex-guard. He could be a real asset on this mission. Gladly. Oppo, I know you're good with technology. Will you help the guard try to get past the communication jammer? As long as Oppo does not have to fight, Oppo will help. Then it's settled. Damon looks around at us all, his gaze landing lastly on Calderon, who gives him a swift nod. Everyone ready? Let's get moving. Together we make our way through the terminal and out into the Silver District, Vex immediately guiding us to a nearby alley and out of sight. The 9 of us stick together, keeping to the shadows as we make our way through the back streets toward Gold. I'm not familiar with this part of the city, but Vex seems to know the way, and I trust him to get us there unseen. We move hurriedly, the city so dark that sometimes all we have is the light of the moon to guide us. If the Chimeri know we're here, they haven't shown any signs of it, which gives me hope. After some time, we duck down a dimly lit back street and Vex turns back to us, his face set in grim determination. We're almost at the border of the Gold District. There's a train station up ahead, and after that we'll cross into one of the residential zones. There's not a lot of cover from here until Gold, so I'll scout it out before we all move on. Wait here until I return and stay out of sight. I'll come with you. I can watch your back. Vex nods and both he and Ayame head off together into the darkness. That's an interesting pair to work together because had a thing with Vex and now I'm with Aya. Damon lets out a long breath as he leans back against the wall of the alley and I head over to him. His eyes are shadowed in the dim light as he balances a knife in his hand, pressing the tip of it into his finger. What you did for Cal back there when it had a panic attack? How did you know what to do? He glances to the side where the rest of the crew are waiting on Vex and Aya to return before he turns back to me. He used to have panic attacks when I was growing up. That's what Elisa would do for me. It always seemed to help. I nod, though my eyebrows dip at the thought. Damon always gives off so much confidence. I can hardly imagine a time where he used to struggle with such things. I know what you're thinking. It wasn't exactly easy being a kid on Cursa, especially when you had to fend for yourself. Sometimes things would get overwhelming. Damon, don't look at me like that, like I'm some wounded puppy dog. I've learned how to work through them since then. But Cal, I don't know. It's hard seeing him like that. You really care about him, don't you? I care about all the crew, even the ones who ask me stupid questions. I make a gesture to show I'm sealing my lips and hurry out to check in with Tommy. Hey, thanks for agreeing to come with us. You don't need to thank me, Taylor. I'm happy to be of service. I shake my head and a small chuckle escapes me. It's not difficult to peg the man as a member of the guard. Maybe instead of thinking of it as a service, you could think of it as helping a friend? Tommy grins, his blue eyes seeming to shine in the dim light. Yeah, I like the sound of that. The sound of footsteps interrupt us and the heavy breathing of Vex and Aya cuts through the silence as they slip back into the alley, clearly having run some distance. There are Chimeri up ahead at the train station, but they seem to be sticking to the main streets and other well-lit areas. We should be able to bypass them easily enough, but it's best that we go at a couple at a time. That way, if any of us are caught, trails off, but we all catch us meeting. If any of us are caught, there will still be others who can go on and complete the mission. Once again, Vex and I take the lead, and we all follow 2 or 3 at a time, with Tommy and I bringing up the rear. Spot the Chimeri Vex had mentioned, taking care to be extra cautious around the train station until finally we make it to the Gold District. Immediately, the familiar streets of Gold bring back memories. This is the first time I've been back since the night I ran away and landed myself with the family, with the A6 crew. Sorry. I got a group text and it was to the family, so that's where my brain went. But I mean, I'm not wrong. There are no signs of the coup besides the emptiness. Buildings still stand, structures are in one piece. June had told me that I'd been injured by a collapsing bridge, but it seems that Sovak has been quick with repairs. There are no signs of destruction anywhere. Or maybe the collapsed bridge is elsewhere entirely. As though nothing had ever happened, and the throne has always belonged to Jeff Sovak. A lot of memories here. I turn to find Vex at my shoulder, a strange look coming across his face, and I know he feels it too, that tug from the past. I kind of miss those days. We had some good times. Give him a small smile as I think back on the times we snuck into the city. This city. How we would enjoy all the music and lights that have now disappeared. Yeah, we had some good times back then. A lot has changed, for better and for worse. We should keep going. It isn't safe to linger. Vex and I lead on, and we all fall into silence as we stick to the shadows of the skyscrapers and high-rise apartments that litter the district. This is something even more like New York. We come across only one other person on our way when we take shelter in the back of a small shop after having found the door unlocked. She warns us that anyone caught out after a curfew gets taken away and they don't come back. I don't tell her that I think our fates would be even worse. Along the way, I stopped to check in with Calderon, and Riona has been doing the same. So far, so good. He seems to be holding up okay, which I'm guessing is largely in part to Damon taking the lead. Whoops. Eventually, we find ourselves on the outskirts of Gal Plaza, where we pause, taking it in turns to get a glimpse of what we're up against. The plaza is crawling with Chimeri, and right in the center of the mall, I spot Ren speaking into a comm device and dishing out orders to the other soldiers. We backtrack a little before we converge again, out of earshot of the enemy, and my stomach drops as I realize the true scale of our disadvantage. Did you see how many there were? We're outnumbered at least 3 to 1, even with Quan and the guard. If we run in there with guns blazing, it will last half a second at most. Annoyance gets the better of me, knowing how truly unprepared we had been for this. I understand that Narissa and the other leaders had wanted a smaller unit on this mission, but right now we could use a few of those rebel soldiers on our side. We need a plan, and quick, before they notice we're here. As the crew and Tommy discuss the best way to move forward, I look upwards towards the top of the high buildings surrounding us. We're surrounded on all sides by buildings tall enough to block out the night sky, buildings that provide us with a vantage point that we can use to our advantage. Even if there are Chimera already up there, the structures are too close in this part of the city to make us out on the ground. With the element of surprise, we could secure our own perch on the rooftops. And I glance at Vex, and in particular the ride strapped to his back, he cocks his head at me. I know that look. What are you thinking? My eyes drift to the buildings once more as the plan forms, and I decide it can't hurt to put it forward to the group. We don't have the numbers, but they don't know that. What if we send our best gunners to the roofs and pick them off, while the rest of us distract them on the ground? Not all of our weapons have that kind of range. Commander Quan will be nearby. He said the guard are well stocked, so maybe we can ask for his help. It's worth a shot, and I don't think we have many options. Get Quan on the comms. I nodded the order before taking out the comm device that Quan had given me at the Silver District terminal. Sorry, it's been a while since I've had to read so much. Commander Quan, do you copy? The device is quiet for a few moments before there's a short burst of static and the commander's voice comes through the line. Copy. I relayed the plan to him quickly before passing the comm device to Vex to describe the weapons we'll need. Quan agrees to send a few of his men to the rooftops to assist, and before we know it, we have a plan. Taking a moment to myself, I suck in a deep breath and will my shaking hands to still up my sides, knowing that this is my plan has thrown my nerves into overdrive. This has to work. This has to work. June, Riona, you're our best shots. Will you go with Vex? I'm on it. I don't. Riona's eyebrows dip in the middle like, guess well enough where her thoughts had turned. Last time she encountered the Chimera and lost control. This isn't like before, Rai. You're stronger now, and you can trust yourself to do this. Remember that you're fighting for your home and your family, too. Riona hesitates, and I understand that after all she's been through with the Chimera and the Archangels, that this is a horrible situation to put her in. I also know how strong she is. After a second longer, she nods, determination shining in her bright yellow eyes. So sweet that it was Bash who helped her understand, who helped her. You're right. Thank you, Bash. Riona tiptoes up to kiss Bash on the cheek, and a soft, silly smile comes across his face. Ah, yes! Yes! None of us say a word, though. There are more than a few knowing grins shared between us. Honestly, Bash's crush is probably no secret to anybody. Vex gets them all organized, and the three of them prepare themselves to meet Quan's snipers on the rooftop. The three of our crew depart on their own mission. The remaining six of us go over the plan to enter Guild Plaza, which basically consists of us distracting Ren while Quan gets his men to position and ready to back us up. Glance at Cal to make sure he's ready for this, finding his shoulders squared and his mouth set in a tight, determined line. With Quan prepped and ready on the other end of our comms, we sneak down the street towards a large central plaza, ensuring that none of us are spotted by the Chimera before we need to be. Alright, weapons ready. They start shooting and get to cover, but our goal is to keep Ren talking for as long as it takes a guard and the rest of our crew to get set up. He takes in a deep breath and he looks around at each of us, steeling himself for what lies ahead. What makes you think they won't start shooting? Unfortunately, I know Ren and I know Zovak. They'll have a plan, and I can guarantee that will include at least one of us. Dave inclines his head towards me and my nerves spike. I can only hope that what he's saying is true and they won't execute us all on sight. If things go to hell, well, it's fun to be captain even for a little while. He grins at us all, and I think some of his confidence is rubbing off on me, because I find myself believing that this is going to work. Let's go! We spill out into the plaza after Damon, and when the first of the Chimera notice our presence, their guns raised and trained on us, I immediately begin to panic. Luckily for us, Ren's voice rings out through the plaza, commanding their soldiers to stand down at once. I look Zovak's right hand over as they appear from within the lines of Chimera, their pale bionic eyes shifting and glowing with an unnatural light as they size us up. They look the same as they had on Orion, pale blonde hair framing a face that currently appraises us with a disinterested stare. The blood red of their armor shines beneath the plaza lights, giving them an almost vampiric look. Well, if it isn't Captain Lynch and his ragtag crew, we were wondering when you would show up. Calderon steps in front of our group, his fingers switching over one of the blasters in his holster. I'd say it's good to see you again, Kuro, but it really isn't. Likewise. Ren stays us all, sizing us up one by one, and no doubt noticing the absentees from our crew, as well as the addition of Tomi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bonus prize. Looks like you've lost a few members, Captain. Some chose not to come. Ren huffs a short laugh, but the sound is anything but warm. Not surprising, there's nothing here for you but crushing defeat. So we'll find them soon enough, Seraph and Hayden and Yux, just once you all eliminated. I bristle at their words as I push between Calderon and Damon and staring Ren down with an equally unimpressed glare. Good luck with that. They take a couple steps towards us, and I feel the men on either side of me tense, but hold their ground. Taylor Pegassi! Pity I didn't know who you were back on Orion. It could have saved me a lot of trouble. You, my dear, are the most valuable prize of all. Ren raises their rifle at me, and I sense movement as Ayame moves forward to place herself in front of me, her own blaster aimed at Ren. Put the gun down. Now. Ren laughs, a soft, breezy sound, their gun now trained on Aya. I try to move forward, but she blocks me, keeping me behind her body. Aya! No! Oh, look, the little nobody is here again. What makes you think you can do anything to stop this? I push myself beside Aya, standing my ground alongside her, while Ren's unnerving eyes flicker between us. Because she's not a nobody, and she's not alone. They huff a small laugh, their eyes glowing unnervingly in the dim light. What an interesting couple you make. I'm almost sorry to have to part you. Ren signals the soldiers on either side of them, who take aim at us, the half-moon symbol on their armor gleaming beneath the plaza lights. I reach for my knife, my fingers moving slowly, trying not to draw attention. Hurry up, Vex, hurry up! No grand sacrifices this time, Captain? No begging on your knees for me to spare your crew? Damon growls in their direction before Calderon has a chance to respond. I'm the captain. You don't talk to him. You talk to me. Captain? Why, Resner, you're a changed man. You have no idea. Damon and Ren stare each other down, and the tension between the two sides is thankfully, blissfully interrupted by the sound of approaching footsteps. Commander Quan. I turn as Quan and Katie enter the plaza from opposite sides, a host of guards filling in behind them. Thankfully, it looks as though they've managed to track down more guards than we had hoped for. This has gone far enough, Corel, or Santa's guard won't stand down any longer. We're here to put an end to this. Ren sneers at him before their eyes narrow on Damon in understanding. It's no wonder you all managed to get this far undetected. You had help. Damon gives him a mocking smile, his daggers unsheathed and held loosely at his sides. You've still got time to surrender, Ren. I'll allow you that much. Surrender? Me? Look around you, Resner. Think you'll find that it's you who should be surrendering to me. I suppose we'll just have to agree to disagree. You've always been a pain in the ass. Ren waves a hand in the air, and the soldiers that flank them begin to move forward, their sights set on us. Capture the Pegassi. Kill the others. The soldiers continue forward, and we ready ourselves. Ren and the Chimera on one side of the plaza, and us and the guard on the other. A shot goes out through the plaza, ringing in my ears, and a Chimera soldier falls down dead. And then another, until the Chimera are scrambling backwards out of range. I look towards the rooftops, and though I see nothing, I thank the gods to finally have Vex and the others backing us up. Hold your ground. At Ren's command, the soldiers steel themselves, weapons raised, and then they attack. Bolts of electricity streak past us all as we lunge for cover, pulling out weapons and taking up positions as we're backed up by the guard. Pull out a few of the smaller knives from my jacket, ones that are meant for throwing, and line up my shots from behind the safety of a large decorative planter. It's not exactly encouraging that I missed more of my targets than I hit, but I figure that within the chaos, as long as I'm not hurling daggers at anyone on my own side, I'm doing okay. That's fair. I try not to focus too much on the crew, telling myself that they know what they're doing, that they'll be okay, that it's me I need to worry about right now. Fighting quickly turns to close combat, many of the soldiers abandoning their guns in favor of fists and daggers. While some fight like they know how, most seem like little more than civilians who have had a foreign weapon shoved into their hands. Focus on these ones first, feeling out the weaker Chimeras, the ones who hesitate, eliminating them as a threat. Loud shots continue to ring out through the plaza. I know that the allies we have on the rooftops are watching our backs and simultaneously spiking the Chimera's nerves, making them wonder if the next bullet is for them. When the fighting finally begins to slow, I snatch a moment to look around for my friends, to make sure they're still standing. So I know that I spot Damon and Ren going head to head, their long swords slicing through the air again and again, as Damon meets the steel with the shorter blades of his knives. I lurch into action, my stomach dropping as I realize that Damon is on the back foot, being pushed back time and time again by Ren's blows. He grits his teeth against their attacks, matching their speed blow for blow until he falters, and all it takes is one measly second for Ren to kick him back, sending Damon slamming down to his knees. I watch in horror as Ren draws their sword back and then drives it forward again before Damon has time to counter them. Damon! I sprint towards him right as Ren pulls his sword from his shoulder with a sickening squelch. No! I do, Captain Reznor. They raise the blade above their shoulder, preparing to strike. I want my feet to move faster, faster! I'm not going to make it in time, I'm not going to make it. Ren slices her blade through the air. I watch helplessly as it hurtles towards Damon. No! And then a clash of steel rings out through the air and Tomi is there, meeting Ren's blade with his own. Ooh, I was hoping for that! Commander Quan appears a second later, his blaster hovering inches from Ren's temple. It's over, Corel. Drop your weapon. Survey the plaza to find the remaining Chimeri being rounded up by the guard and pushed to their knees, forced to surrender. Ren's sword falls to the stone floor of the plaza with a clatter, and immediately I'm sprinting to Damon's side, the air whooshing from my lungs to the side of the blood leaking from his shoulder. I'm okay. Ugh, I'm okay. He grunts in pain, his hand covering the wound from Ren's blade and his face twisted in anger. Okay, you just took a bloody sword to the shoulder. Didn't I tell you I'd keep you safe? Damon. Quicken footsteps echo across the plaza as Vex, Riona, and Jules appear. Damon, no! It's alright, Glowbug, no need to fuss. No need to fuss? Riona digs around her satchel as she mumbles, looking torn between her worry and her annoyance at him. Glowbug. If you weren't already bleeding out, I'd kill you myself. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay too. Riona rolls her eyes as she gives him 2 shots, one in the arm and another right next to the wound, before she strips his coat and begins bandaging him. One for the pain and another to slow the bleeding. She explains when she sees the look on my face, her expression softening a bit. Will he be okay? You think I'm going to let Ren be the one to take me out? Think again. With no small amount of struggle, he lets Riona and I help him to his feet, his hand pressed to his wound, his arm hanging limply at his side, despite Riona's petting. Meanwhile, Tomi and Quan have Ren on their knees in front of them, while the other guard round up the remaining Chimeri. Vex steps in front of Ren, his rifle slung over his shoulder and his face set in a grim line. Seraph, you didn't desert after all. You surprised me. I couldn't pass up on the opportunity to take you down, Ren. You should know that. Ren sneers up at him from their place on the ground, their long hair falling in messy tendrils around their face. It's a pity my brother couldn't turn you completely. Watching your mind break was one of the sweetest things I've even seen. So Ren's brother is the doctor. Brother? They smirk, but even so I find myself leaning forward, trying to hear what they're saying over the bustle of guard around us. Yes, brother, the doctor you all call him. But if I know Rowan, he isn't done with you yet. I broke free from his procedure. With the help of the Tilaari, my mind is mine again. Vex growls the words at them, his eyes burning with the kind of rage I'd hate to be on the receiving end of. Oh, Sarah, the fact that you think that almost makes all of this worth it. What are they talking about? Vex says nothing. To say he looks shaken would be an understatement, and I'm guessing that's exactly what Ren had intended. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter anyway. Elisa and Zane are in bronze taking care of the doctor. Soon enough, he won't be a threat to anyone. You're too much fun, Reznor. My brother isn't in bronze. Something came up that required his attention elsewhere. My smile turns feline, something sinister and sly, creeping into those eerie eyes. What are you talking about? Ren simply smiles, content to prolong their game. I grit my teeth as I watch. The Bronze District is where Rowan has been keeping all his newest playthings. Your friends will be lucky to make it out of there alive. You're a liar. We both know that's not true. Damon? Damon turns away with a growl of anger, wincing as pain shoots through his shoulder, slams a hand to the wound as he shakes his head to himself. Just let me think. We have to get you back to the ship. Now, before you lose any more blood. It's not a request. I'm telling you now, Damon, we're going... We should kill them before we leave. It's best not to leave any loose threads. Riona looks at him horrified. She waves her hands to gesture around the plaza, the dozens of bodies that now litter its once pristine floor. I think enough blood has already been spilled. Ren scoffs, clearly growing impatient at the show. We all turn to them at the sound, finding them glaring between each and every one of us. Go ahead, kill me. It's not going to change anything. You've already lost. Look around you, Ren, and say that again. They smirk at me, and a sliver of dread worms its way down into my stomach. Oh, little Pegasi, you have no idea, do you? I glance over them at the smile that's too smug, too pleased, and wonder what they know that I don't. Ignore them, they're just trying to get under your skin. Vex stands between the two of us, blocking me from Ren's unnerving gaze. If we kill them, we'll be no better than any of them. We should arrest them and let them face a fair trial. It's what both they and the people they've hurt deserve. I'm inclined to agree with Aya. And what about the people who aren't here anymore because of them? What about your family, Taylor? Would you really spare them after all they've done? Bash is right. We can't let them live. We need to end this while we all have the chance. Damon? I look towards our captain and wait for him to weigh in on the situation. We need everyone's opinion if we're going to be able to make this decision. We should keep them alive, at least for now. There might be more information that I can persuade from them. We need to know more before we make our next move against Sovak. If you think you'll get anything from me, you're stupider than I thought. Shut the fuck up, Corral, before I change my mind. As a member of the royal family, Taylor is the highest present authority. It's her decision. Princess, what do you want us to do with them? As I look around at the crew, I feel the weight of the decision settle on my shoulders like a cloak made of lead, pulling me down with its uncertainty. I realize at once what this feeling is, the responsibility of a leader. When my gaze lands on Ren again, on that smug smile and those unusual eyes, I make my choice. As I look around the plaza at the blood, the bodies, the destruction, I know that enough is enough. Arrest them. I won't stoop to their level. Are you sure about this after everything they've done? I glance at Ren as I nod, and I see no trace of fear or relief on their face. I'm feeling more than enough of those for the both of us. Yeah, I'm sure. This is the right thing to do, Vex. So soft, all you Pegasi vermin, just like your sister, Nerissa. I wonder it was so easy for Seraph to put a bullet in her and leave her for dead. I tense at the insult, but it's Vex who steps forward first, his green eyes blazing. Ren glares at us both, but says nothing else as Quan hauls them to their feet and secures their arms behind their back. Wang Corell, you're under arrest under the authority of Taylor Pegasi. Quan hands him over to a couple of guard members who take Ren away, and Tommy steps over to me with an approving nod. What about the others? He gestures to the rest of the Khmer, all of them surrendered on their knees, their hands bound. Arrest them. Commander Quan, can you take care of it? We have holding cells at the terminal. We can keep them there for the time being, but Zovak will come for them. Then we have to act fast. I leave the rounding up of the Khmer in the capable hands of Commander Quan and Tommy while I turn back to the crew. There are a few disappointed faces, those who believe I should have put an end to Ren, but I can live with their disapproval if it means my own conscience is clear. Absolutely. When it comes down to it, this was my decision. I chose this. And no matter what happens next, I have to live with it. So what now? Now what? David attempts to stand straight despite the blood that stains the bandages across his shoulder. Let's get back to the terminal and see how they're going with the communications. Once we're there, we can get in contact with the others, and hopefully Elisa and Zane will be back before too long. I don't miss a flicker of worry in his eyes, and I can't say that I blame him. After what Ren had told us about the Bronze District, we need to ensure that the Cursons are safe. Damon! Rihanna stamps her foot in annoyance, her satchel of medical supplies swinging from her shoulder as she does so. I need to tend to that wound in the infirmary unless you want to lose function in that arm completely? Indeed, as Rihanna scolds in my nose how Damon's arm is still hanging limp at his side, I'm not sure if it's simply the pain or some other damage which is keeping it that way. Rihanna is right, you need to deal with that first. And here I thought being the captain meant you couldn't boss me around anymore. Damon clicks his tongue at both of us before he turns to Calderon with a tired look. Take it back, Cal. I don't want it anymore. Cal shakes his head at us all, his expression filled with the kind of warmth we rarely see from him. Well, I agree with both Rihanna and Taylor that you need to get that shoulder taken care of. I'll admit that you make a pretty good captain. Damon grins at the compliment. I have to stop myself from groaning out loud at the smugness of it. Oh, keep sweet-talking me like that, and I might enjoy being on top again sometime. Damon winks at the captain, whose eyebrows shoot upwards before he rolls his eyes at his newly reinstated second-in-command. Damon! I glance between them, trying desperately to hold in a laugh as Damon grins at me before he walks off. With a lingering smile, I turn to Calderon, relieved to see him taking up his mantle as captain once again. So how do you feel now that our mission is over? I feel good. Really good. I know we can't change everything that Ren, Zovek, and the Chimera have done, but this feels like a start. Around the plaza, the guard have things well and truly under control, and a burst of satisfaction goes through me. We did it. Despite all odds, our mission was a complete success, and I'm so proud of the crew. Every single one of them. Footsteps lures to Commander Quan, who steps towards Calderon and I with a nod. There's still a Chimera patrolling the city. No doubt some of them will be on their way here. We have a couple of ships on standby waiting to take us back to the terminal. I'll leave a unit to hold up any approaching Chimera. Thank you, Commander Quan. I'll round up the crew and we'll head off at once. I assist Calderon with getting the crew together and we head for the ships. The relief at not having to sneak our way back to the city is immense, especially with Damon injured. We reach the terminal safely, exiting the ship to find a bustle of activity. As promised, Quan and the guard are taking care of the Chimera we arrested, placing them in holding cells within the terminal. Ren is being held for questioning, and once Damon has had a chance to get cleaned up and have his wound tended to, he'll be let loose on them. Katie spots us and hurries over with a grin. Good news! Communications are back up and running. Your friend Oppo was a real help. We managed to override the Chimera's hold on interplanetary communications, and all systems are working as normal. Have you heard anything from Elisa and Zane? Katie shakes her head, her smile fading, and my stomach drops in disappointment. There's been nothing. I'm sorry. Damon turns back to the crew, his jaw tight and his eyes hard. I've never seen him so on edge before. A sinking feeling comes over me, and I can understand some of what he's feeling. Whatever Elisa and Zane are, I can only hope they're safe. Wherever they are. Not whatever, wherever. Let's get to the ship and see if they've tried making contact with us there. I'll check the comms while you head to the infirmary and let Riona see to your wound. Yes, I really think that's... No, I need to do this. Damon throws a hand up in frustration as he paces a couple of steps and lets out a heavy sigh. I'm sorry, it's just... I can't lose them. Calderon nods as he places a hand on Damon's uninjured arm, his voice soft. I understand. Let's check our communications at once. Thanks, Cal. We head to the ship, and as we step into the docks, I let a breath of relief as I realize that we're all here together. We all made it. Cal and Damon busy themselves with our communication system, getting it up and running, while the rest of us take a seat on the crates and stairs to catch our breath. I listened to Jim recount what had happened when Vex, Riona, and himself had headed for the rooftops. Indeed, there were a few Chimera soldiers perched up high, but between themselves and the guard, they had dispatched them easily enough. I gazed to the captain and second in command, hoping for good news soon. When the chatter cuts off abruptly, I push myself up from the step I'd been sitting on and head over to join them. Is there anything there? Nothing from Lisa and Zane, but Damon turns to me, his face dark white and his eyes wide. Immediately a chill comes over me. What is it? We've received a transmission from Zovek. It's addressed to you. I look between them, searching their eyes for any clues on the content. You've watched it? We skipped through it. We don't know what he said in it, but we saw... Cal trails off, as though his own tongue won't let him say any more. My heart thumps in my chest, picking up speed, and my breathing feels wrong. Too rough and ragged in my lungs. Play it. Taylor, I don't think that's the best. I lurch forward, attempting to hit the screen myself, but Calderon stops me. Play it! Now! Taylor... I can see it now, plain as day on the captain's face. He already knows what it is, and it's nothing good. Please, play the transmission. The two of them exchange one last heavy look before Damon presses the button on the panel and a video message appears. Zovek's face is the first thing I see, that smug, ever-charming smile plastered on his face. Nausea rises in me at the sight of that silver crown on his head. Can everyone see me? Good, let's begin. Taylor Pegassi, I'm sure by now you're here on Goldus, planning your next move. My heart sinks as he grins into the camera, his eyes glinting with something predatory that chills me all the way to the bone. Yes, I know all about your mission to eliminate the general of my army. I applaud you for your bravery, but you'll find that task more difficult than you think. My eyebrows dip in confusion until I realize that he doesn't know about Ren, doesn't know we're currently holding them and the soldiers in the silver terminal cells. I would laugh at his warning if I wasn't so on edge. Difficult? It's clear that he's underestimating us. I know about your other friends, too. At this, my breath sticks in my throat. We still haven't heard from the Carson, so with no idea where they are, our options for finding them are slim. Zane and Elisa, they put up a good fight, but ultimately our creations overwhelmed them. I suppose that will teach them they should have aligned with me when they had the chance. No! Damon pushes forward, his brow of disbelief mimicking the thoughts in my head. They're safe for the time being, but depending on how things play out, that may not last. That fucking bastard! I hear Calderon murmuring something to a second off to the side, but I can't tear my eyes away from the screen. So I adjust the camera, and now I see why he's so smug. I spot my sister first, bound on her knees in front of our father's throne. No! Nerissa, no! And next to it, lifelessly slumped over, KYL3. How old is this recording? We received it about an hour ago. My mind races at 1,000,000 miles a minute. How is Nerissa there? How did Zovak get to her? Hold this for me, will you? Zovak passes the camera to someone off screen, who continues to film as he moves closer to the throne. The bot's memory chip was very interesting when we ripped it out of his thick skull, filled in the gaps in our intel quite nicely. Zovak shows Kay with his boot, who sits there motionless, his arms limp at his sides. Oh, don't worry, it's fine. I won't remember you, of course, but it still has its uses. Oh, no. I hear the rest of the crew shuffling behind me, but I'm too focused on the screen to notice much else. Zovak crouches in front of Nerissa, placing a finger beneath her chin to force her head upwards. Nerissa, darling, anything to say to your sister? Nerissa stares past him, her violet eyes like twin daggers as she finds the lens of the camera and hisses. Taylor, don't let him! Zovak shoves a hand over her mouth abruptly and gives her a warning look. Now, we've talked about this. If you want to keep your friends alive and your sister safe, you'll be a good girl and play along. Slowly he removes his hand, and once it's clear she's not going to yell out again, he smiles at her. There you go. You see, things aren't so bad when we're getting along, are they? Nerissa says nothing, but if looks could kill, Zovak would be nothing more than a pile of ashes on the ground. He pushes himself to a standing position as he tucks down at her. Oh, don't look at me like that. I did you a favor, really. You killed my family! She snarls at him, the fire in her eyes matching the fury that's burning within my own blood. As I watch him on that screen, the usurper, I become more and more agitated, my hands trembling uncontrollably at my sides. I erased the final obstacle of your rule, your father, and I made sure none of your other Perkins siblings got any bright ideas. Honestly, Nerissa, it hurts me that you don't see this. He takes a few steps away, but his eyes never leave her, as though afraid of what she might do if he takes his eyes off her for even a second. And now you'll marry me and we'll rule together. Problem solved. I think we'll have fun, don't you? I'd rather die. A fitting plan B, though not conducive to my plan, I'm afraid. But no matter. He grins wide and wolfish, and a shiver goes through me. The doctor has been waiting for another test subject. Soon enough, my love, you'll be smiling prettily and saying I do. My stomach lurches after hearing his plans, bile creeping up the back of my throat. The doctor gets his hands on my sister. I can't stand to think of it. What it will mean for the system. And for me. Nerissa glares at him, but I don't miss a flash of panic that streaks across her face, gone almost as quickly as it came. You'll pay for this, Jess, for everything you've done. Zovak chuckles, as though every word she spits at him is harmless as she is, as though she's nothing more than a lost little lamb that has wandered into his den. Shit! So that smug grin makes me sick to my stomach, and I vow to myself that if given the chance, I'll show him who the wolf truly is while I claw it right off his face. Well, I admire your spirit. I think that'll be the first thing we'll rip from you. Nerissa hisses at him as she fights against her bonds, but to no avail. Zovak simply smirks before turning back to address the camera. As for you, dear Taylor, I'm willing to offer you a deal. He opens his arms in an embrace-like gesture, his deep red cloak falling off to the side. Come and live in my palace. Be my advisor, my emissary to the planets and people of Celiota, and your friends, your crew. You have my word that I'll spare their lives. I start at the offer, but something about the way he speaks makes me doubt every poisonous word that falls from his lips. No way! Your sister will be safe in her role as my wife, and you'll enjoy all the benefits befitting your station, Prince of Celiota and a high-ranking member of the Canary. You see, you've become a sort of idol among the people. He almost spits the word idol, and I can see from the heat in his eyes that this fact is less than welcome to him. Yep. Think of all the good you could do with a position like that. My eyes narrow as I study the man through the screen as I weigh his offer and wonder why he would bother to go to the trouble of installing me in such a position, instead of just killing me. It can't be because of his intention to marry Nerissa. If all goes his way, and Dr. manages to scramble her mind, then it won't matter if I'm alive or dead. And then it hits me. He won't dare kill me. Not when there's a chance that the people he pretends to rule will rebel against him because of it. but that doesn't mean that he won't kill others to get to me. In return, you'll have my protection and a life others can only dream of. A life that I'm sure even you have dreamed of. But I must warn you, Taylor, that if you dare to stand against me, your crew, and many more, will die. Don't come, Taylor, don't! Zolek shoves her to the floor and points a finger in her face, his mask slipping enough to show the monster lurking underneath. This is your last warning, Princess, before I start calling for executions. He gives her one last hard look before he pushes himself to his feet and straightens the crown on his head. I'll be seeing you, Taylor, soon, I should hope. He reaches out to take back the camera until a sound distracts him and he turns. There's a thump from near the throne and realizes that KYL-3 has lifted his arm, only for it to fall back to his side. He does it again, and it almost looks as though he's reaching for Nerissa. Zolek struts over to him, the camera now forgotten. Kay? Tears started to fall down my sister's face, but Zolek ignores her as he crouches next to the bot. KYL-3, don't worry, my friend. I haven't forgotten about you. No, I have big plans for you. Get away from him! Oh, don't tell me you care for this thing. Zolek sneers at her as he looks between the two of them, his face cruel and calculating. I'm sorry to tell you, love, but I don't think it has a heart. He has more of a heart than you'll ever have. We'll soon find out. Rowan, rip it apart. Zolek gestures to someone standing off to the side, and immediately I recognize the name. Ren's brother, the doctor. With pleasure. Nerissa fights against her bonds, trying to push herself closer to Kay as the Paramarian soldier steps forward to hoist him to his feet. No! No! Footage cuts out Nerissa's screams still ringing in my ears. For a long time I stare at that blank screen trying to make sense of what I've seen. So many questions are running through my mind. How did Nerissa get there? Is Tilaari safe? Where is he keeping Alyssa insane? What will he do to Kay? It's only when I feel a warm hand on my shoulder that I turn, finding Caldron staring at me wide-eyed. Questions, so many questions, but my tongue sits uselessly in my mouth, unwilling to move. When did he last speak to Nerissa? Does he know if Tilaari is safe? Kadar? Eldred? His hand is shaking, the devastation on his face clear, and realize that he's just as shocked by all this as I am. The rest of the crew gather around, every single pair of eyes on me, and the world spins on its axis, threatening to come crashing down at any moment. Taylor, what do we do? Ah! Oh my gosh! No, what? No! I had a feeling it was going to end there, but oh my gosh! Ah! Oof. Okay, so Chapter 8 was released last April, and Chapter 9 was released over a year later, so we may have to wait that long for Chapter 10 to find out what happens next, but oh my gosh! Nerissa! Ah! Kay! Lisa! Zane! Everybody! No! Okay. I'm just checking where, okay. Okay. It's just, about the CG for the chapter. I wondered which gallery it would show up in. Okay, so thank you to everyone who's watched. I guess we're all going to be on pins and needles until the next chapter is released, whenever that is. Please like, share, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Eat food, drink water, take your meds, take a shower, go to take a nap. Whatever you need to do. Self-care and recover from all of that. So I'll be back next Thursday playing The War Within, and then Cata Classic the week after that. So take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye!